everyone. Welcome to our English Learning Podcast. I am your host, Rebecca.
And I am Tommy. We are so happy you're listening to us today. Welcome.
Today, Tommy, we have a very exciting episode. We are going to tell a famous story. It is one of the oldest stories in the world.
Really? I love old stories. What is it called, Rebecca?
It is called the Odyssey. The Odyssey is a Greek myth. A myth is an ancient traditional story.
The Odyssey. That is a cool name. But wait, what does the word Odyssey actually mean?
That is a great question for our English learners. Today, the word Odyssey means a long and difficult journey. But originally, it was the name of the main character. His name was Odysseus.
Odysseus? Okay, so this is a story about a man named Odysseus going on a long and difficult journey?
Exactly, Tommy. Our story begins after a huge war. It was called the Trojan War. Odysseus fought in this war for 10 long years.
10 years? That is a very long time to be away from home.
Yes, it is. Odysseus lived on an island called Ithaca. He was the king of Ithaca. He left his beautiful wife, Penelope, and his baby son, Telemachus, at home.
So the war is finally over. Does Odysseus get to go home now?
He tries. He gets on his wooden ship with his men, and they sail into the ocean. But the gods are angry with him. They make his journey home take another 10 years.
Oh no! So 10 years of war and 10 years trying to get home? That is 20 years away from his family.
Exactly. And the journey home is full of monsters, magic, and extreme danger. Are you ready to hear what happens?
I am so ready! Listeners, get ready for an amazing adventure. Let's go!
Okay, the first major stop for Odysseus and his men is the island of the Lotus Eaters.
The Lotus Eaters? What is a lotus?
A lotus is a type of beautiful flower. On this island, the people only eat lotus flowers. But these flowers are magical.
Magical flowers? Do they give you superpowers?
No, Tommy. They make you forget everything. When some of Odysseus's men eat the lotus flowers, they forget about their home. They forget about their families. They only want to stay on the island and eat more flowers.
Wow, that is a dangerous flower. It is a symbol of temptation. Temptation means something that makes you want to do the wrong thing.
That is a great vocabulary word, Tommy. Yes, the flowers were a temptation. But Odysseus is a strong leader. He drags his men back to the ship. He ties them down so they cannot escape.
Good job, Odysseus.
Where do they go next? Next, they land on the island of the Cyclops.
Cyclops? I know this word. A cyclops is a giant monster, right?
Yes! A Cyclops is a giant with only one large eye in the middle of his forehead.
One big eye. That sounds very scary.
It was scary. Odysseus and his men find a large cave. Inside the cave, there is lots of cheese and milk. The men are hungry, so they go inside to eat.
Oh, I have a bad feeling about this, Rebecca. Whose cave is it?
It belongs to a Cyclops named Polyphemus. When Polyphemus comes home, he brings his sheep inside and pushes a giant rock in front of the door. The rock is so heavy, the men cannot move it. They are trapped.
Trapped! That means they cannot get out. What does the Cyclops do when he sees them?
He is very angry. In fact, he grabs 2 of the men and eats them for dinner.
He eats them? This is a horror story.
It is very dangerous. Odysseus knows he cannot kill the giant, because if the giant is dead, no one can move the heavy rock from the door.
Oh, I see. they need the giant alive to open the door. So, what is the plan? Odysseus is famous for being smart, right?
Yes, Odysseus is very clever. Clever means smart and quick thinking. First, he gives the Cyclops some very strong wine. The giant drinks it and gets sleepy.
Okay, step one, make the monster sleepy.
Then, the Cyclops asks Odysseus, "What is your name?" Odysseus gives a very clever answer. He says, "My name is Nobody."
Nobody? Why would he say his name is Nobody?
You will see in a minute. When the giant falls asleep, Odysseus and his men take a sharp piece of wood. They push it into the giant's single eye.
Ouch! So they blind him. They take away his sight.
Yes! The giant wakes up screaming in pain. He shouts to the other giants on the island, "Help me! Nobody is hurting me. Nobody has blinded me."
I understand now. The other giants hear him shouting, "Nobody is hurting me," so they think he is fine. They think no one is there.
Exactly. It was a perfect trick. The next morning, the blind giant has to let his sheep out of the cave. Odysseus and his men hide underneath the sheep. They hold on to the belly of the sheep.
That is brilliant. The blind giant touches the top of the sheep to make sure the men are not escaping, but the men are hiding underneath.
Yes! They escape to their ship, but Odysseus makes a big mistake. As they sail away, he shouts his real name. He says, "I am Odysseus. I am the one who blinded you."
Oh, Rebecca, that is a bad idea. Why did he do that?
He was proud. He wanted the giant to know who beat him. But the giant's father is Poseidon, the god of the sea. The giant prays to his father and says, "Curse Odysseus! Do not let him go home."
A curse. A curse is a magic spell to bring bad luck. And since they are on the ocean, making the god of the sea angry is the worst possible thing you can do.
You are absolutely right, Tommy. From that moment on, Poseidon makes the ocean terrible for Odysseus. There are storms, huge waves, and terrible winds.
Wow. English learners, remember this lesson. Do not be too proud. Where does the wind take them next?
The wind takes them to the island of Circe. Circe is a beautiful witch.
A witch? Does she fly on a broom?
No, she is a sorceress. She uses potions. A potion is a magic drink. When Odysseus's men go to her house, she gives them a delicious meal with a magic potion in it.
Oh no. What happens when they drink the potion?
She takes a magic stick, touches them, and turns them into pigs.
Pigs? She turned grown men into farm animals?
Yes, they had the minds of men, but the bodies of pigs. They were crying in the pig pen.
That is so sad, but also a little funny. How does Odysseus save them? Let me guess. He is clever again?
This time, he gets help from a god. The messenger god, Hermes, gives Odysseus a special plant. This plant protects him from the magic.
So, when Odysseus drinks the witch's potion, nothing happens?
Exactly. Circe is shocked. She realizes Odysseus is very powerful. She falls in love with him and changes his men back into humans. They actually stay on her island for a whole year to rest.
A 1-year vacation on a magical island? That sounds pretty nice after all those monsters. But he still has to get back to his wife, Penelope, in Ithaca.
Yes, Circe tells Odysseus that to get home, he must pass the island of the Sirens. Tommy, do you know what a siren is?
Is it like the loud sound a police car makes? A siren?
Great connection! The English word for a police siren comes from this Greek myth. In the myth, a siren is a monster that looks like a beautiful woman with the body of a bird.
A bird woman? Why are they dangerous?
Because they sing. They sing the most beautiful song in the world. Anyone who hears the song is hypnotized. They want to go to the sirens so badly that they crash their ships into the rocks and drown.
Whoa. The music is so beautiful it makes you crazy. How can Odysseus sail past them if the music makes people crash their ships?
He comes up with another clever plan. He tells his men to put beeswax into their ears.
Beeswax? Like the wax from a candle? If their ears are full of wax, they cannot hear the singing.
Exactly. The men cannot hear anything. But Odysseus is curious. He wants to hear the famous song of the Sirens.
Uh-oh. Curiosity can be dangerous. What does he do?
He tells his men to tie him to the tall wooden pole on the ship. The mast! He says, no matter how much I scream, do not untie me.
So the men have wax in their ears, and Odysseus is tied up with ropes.
Yes! As they sail past the island, Odysseus hears the music. It is beautiful. He goes crazy. He screams at his men to untie him. He fights against the ropes, but the men cannot hear him, and they keep rowing.
That is intense. Intense means very strong and extreme. They survived the sirens.
They did. But right after the Sirens, they must face a terrible choice. They have to sail through a very narrow piece of water. On one side is Scylla. On the other side is Charybdis.
Scylla and Charybdis? These names are hard to say. What are they?
Scylla is a monster with 6 long necks and 6 terrifying heads with sharp teeth. She lives in a cave up high on a cliff.
A 6-headed monster? Okay, and what is on the other side? What is Charybdis?
Charybdis is a giant whirlpool. A whirlpool is a circular current of water that pulls everything down to the bottom of the ocean. If the ship goes near Charybdis, the whole ship and everyone on it will be destroyed.
This is a famous English idiom, right? Caught between a rock and a hard place. It means you have to choose between 2 very bad options.
Yes, perfectly said, Tommy. Odysseus has to choose. If he goes near the whirlpool, everyone dies. If he goes near the 6-headed monster, she will eat 6 of his men, but the rest of the ship will survive.
That is a terrible choice for a leader. He has to sacrifice 6 friends to save the rest? Sacrifice means to give up something valuable for a greater good.
Yes, it breaks his heart, but he chooses to sail near Scylla. The 6-headed monster swoops down and eats 6 of his best men. They sail away as fast as they can.
This journey is so tragic. Tragic means very sad. Do things get better for them now?
Unfortunately, no. They land on an island that belongs to the sun god, Helios. Helios keeps his sacred cows on this island. Circe the witch warned Odysseus, do not eat the sun god's cows.
Let me guess. The men were very hungry and they ate the cows.
Yes, Odysseus fell asleep and his men cooked the sacred cows. When the sun god found out, he was furious. He asked Zeus, the king of all gods, to punish them.
You do not want to make Zeus angry. He throws lightning bolts.
And that is exactly what he did. When they sailed away, Zeus threw a massive lightning bolt at the ship. The ship was destroyed. Every single man drowned in the ocean.
Every single man? Wait, did Odysseus die too?
No, Odysseus did not eat the cows, so he survived. But he was all alone in the middle of the ocean. He floated on a piece of broken wood for 9 days.
9 days alone at sea. That is true survival. Where does he finally wash up?
He washes up on the island of a beautiful sea nymph named Calypso. She loves him and keeps him on her island for 7 years.
7 years? He is stuck there?
Yes. He cries every day on the beach. He just wants to go home to his wife, Penelope. Finally, the gods feel sorry for him. They order Calypso to let him go. He builds a small boat and sails away.
Does he finally make it to Ithaca?
Almost. He gets help from some friendly people called the Phaeacians. They give him a fast ship and drop him off in Ithaca while he is sleeping.
Hooray! He is finally home after 20 years. It is time for a happy reunion with his wife and son.
Not so fast, Tommy. There is a big problem at home.
Oh, come on, more problems? What is wrong now?
Because Odysseus was gone for 20 years, everyone in Ithaca thought he was dead. Over 100 terrible men have moved into his palace.
100 men in his house? What are they doing there?
They are called suitors. A suitor is a man who wants to marry a woman. These men all want to marry Queen Penelope so they can become the new king of Ithaca.
That is so rude. Are they nice to her?
No, they are eating all of Odysseus's food, drinking his wine, and being very disrespectful to Penelope and his son, Telemachus.
How has Penelope handled this for so many years?
Penelope is just as clever as Odysseus. For 3 years, she tricked the men. She told them she would pick a husband after she finished weaving a large blanket called a shroud.
So she just wove the blanket really slowly?
Even better, she worked on it all day, but every night, in secret, she unraveled it. She pulled the threads apart, so the blanket was never finished.
Wow, she is brilliant. Unravel means to pull apart the threads of a fabric. That is a great trick. But what happens when Odysseus arrives? He cannot just fight 100 men by himself.
You are right. The goddess of wisdom, Athena, helps him. She uses magic to disguise Odysseus as an old, dirty beggar.
A disguise. That means changing your appearance so no one knows who you are. A beggar is a poor person asking for money. So he walks into his own house looking like a poor old man?
Yes. Only his old dog Argos recognizes him. It is a very sad moment. The dog wags his tail and then passes away peacefully.
Oh, that makes me want to cry. Animals always know their owners. So the 100 suitors see this old beggar. Do they treat him well?
No, they laugh at him. They throw food at him. They have no idea they are insulting the king.
Oh, they are going to regret that. How does Odysseus get his revenge?
Penelope decides it is time to end the problem. She announces a contest. She brings out Odysseus's giant, heavy bow. A bow is a weapon used to shoot arrows.
I know this, a bow and arrow.
She tells the suitors, "I will marry the man who can string this bow and shoot an arrow perfectly through 12 small metal rings."
String the bow means putting the tight string on it? It must require a lot of physical strength.
Exactly. The suitors all try. They push and pull, but the bow is too stiff. Not a single man is strong enough to string the bow.
They are weak. Let me guess. The old beggar asks to try?
Yes! The suitors laugh and say, "You are a crazy old man." But Telemachus, Odysseus' son, tells them to let the beggar try.
I have goosebumps, Rebecca. What happens next?
Odysseus takes the bow. He easily bends it and attaches the string. He plucks the string, and it sings like a beautiful instrument. The room goes completely quiet.
Oh, wow. The suitors must be terrified.
Then Odysseus picks up an arrow. He pulls it back and shoots it perfectly through all 12 metal rings.
Bullseye. That means a perfect shot. What happens to his disguise?
The goddess Athena changes him back into a strong, handsome king. The suitors realize who he is, and they are terrified. They try to run, but Odysseus and his son have locked all the doors.
Justice has arrived. So Odysseus and Telemachus fight all the suitors?
Yes, it is a fierce battle, but Odysseus is a great warrior. He defeats all the bad men who tried to steal his wife and his kingdom.
That is amazing. He saved his home. Now he can finally hug his wife, Penelope.
Yes, but Penelope is very careful. It has been 20 years. She wants to make absolutely sure that this man is really her husband.
That is smart. Magic exists in this world, so it could be a trick by a god. How does she test him?
She gives him a final test. She tells her servant, "Move my heavy wooden bed out of the bedroom and let him sleep in the hall."
Move a bed? Why is that a test?
Because Odysseus gets very angry. He says, "No one can move that bed. I built that bed myself. I built it around a living olive tree that grows right out of the floor."
Ah, so the bed is actually attached to a tree that grows inside the house?
Yes, and only Odysseus and Penelope knew that secret. When he gets angry about the bed, Penelope starts to cry. She runs to him and hugs him tightly. She knows it is really him.
That is such a beautiful ending. After 20 years of war, monsters, magic, and bad men, he is finally home with his true love.
It is. And that is the end of the story of the Odyssey. It is a story about intelligence, loyalty, and never giving up.
Let's review some of the great English vocabulary we learned today, listeners. We learned epic, which is a long story about a hero.
We learned temptation, something that makes you want to do the wrong thing, like the lotus flowers.
We talked about being clever, which means smart and quick thinking, like calling yourself nobody to trick a Cyclops.
We learned the word curse, which is a magic spell to bring bad luck.
We learned about sacrifice, giving up something valuable, like when Odysseus had to choose the six-headed monster over the whirlpool.
And finally, we learned disguise, changing how you look so people don't know you, like Odysseus dressing as a beggar.
What an incredible episode. Listeners, we hope you enjoyed this amazing myth and learned some great English words today.
Thank you so much for joining us. Keep practicing your English, and remember, no matter how hard your journey is, keep sailing forward like Odysseus.
See you next time, everyone. Goodbye.
Goodbye.